Whoa! Boom! Personality turns on right now. Well, yeah, we're well into a conversation already, but welcome to episode 3 of Ketchup with Domtomato. We'll probably just have spliced in somewhere in the middle. Our guest this week is Ed Scott. He is a former member of Storm Freerun. Oh, wait, he's a member of former Storm Freerun? Storm...
Still alive, Dom. It's still alive.
Yeah.
Never letting it die.
Storm, baby, let it go.
Jeez, come
on. Yeah. So, what is the word with Storm? Just on that, is it just like the business is like on hiatus until further notice, or
pretty much? Yeah.
Pretty
so
much.
the whole thing's just kind of on pause.
Yeah.
With Kai being in Dubai, Tim being back and forth from Australia and working a bunch.
Aussie.
I'm training as well. Lynn's like smashing it, she's get job after job, and she's in Luxembourg a lot as well. I think just at the moment it's not working because of everyone being all over the shop. Not to say that it couldn't work in the future or it couldn't be brought back. Just at the moment it's so hard to get it together. I imagine you've got the same sort of thing with Frang, right? At times it's really difficult, but until you're together.
Yeah, it took a lot of premeditated effort this year to go, okay, we're gonna be a team again, and we're gonna, because we didn't slip quite as far. It's just that everyone was working on their own projects and working on their own, Pastor and Jason have children now, and there's so
How
many.
mad is that?
It's so amazing. Oh man, they're so adorable. Those two as dads, just the cutest thing. But the team had their own life things, and also in my instance, I was working on the Domtomato brand and putting myself out there, and so we didn't have that kind of cohesiveness. And I imagine the same with Storm. There is a brand there, and there is a legacy and a history there, but it's hard unless all the members decide they want to do that together. And that's what we were fortunate with, is that everyone at the start of this year was very much in the case, okay, I want to do stuff and we want to build the team again. It's just we haven't been paying attention, less than we lost any passion for it. And I think now, after 12 months, I don't know, maybe from your perspective, it seems like we're back on the playing field and we're doing stuff again. We're active.
Yeah. I think just because you've now been consistent with making videos and or being on trips, it's not only we've got videos coming out from Frang, but you also see you guys hanging out a lot more and going on trips and stuff and getting a proper nice roundup throughout the time that you're away, and then adding Joe as well, such a good move. He's so sick. That man killed it this year.
I think other than yourself and Verky, obviously, he's actually a very high candidate for Athlete of the Year for Store Awards. He's unreal, man. Yeah, he's just on such another level with his own unique style, but then he can do all the bits, and he's just I don't know. I remember the last couple of years training with Joe, there was resistance from him because of his ankles. He really didn't want to go big impact. He really didn't. He wanted to stick to the painless stuff, which now to me makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so now it seems like his body's really come good from those previous injuries and lingering things, and he can just do everything at such scale and such incredible ease.
He had glass ankles for a while, but now he just seems to come out the back of that. And I was talking to my friend the other day, someone that doesn't do parkour, but he has social media and stuff, and I was talking to him about social media, and I was like, we call this guy Joe Don't Miss Scandra, because his Instagram, man, every post bangs. He does so sick, and it's because no one else is doing it. The stuff that he does day in, day out, week on, week out, is just people aren't doing it. You're the only other person, I think, to do the upside down koala thing.
And that took me a year of training with Joe. I would practice it at ground level a lot of the time that he would go and do the high one, and I was way too scared for a very, very long time, and then I found one the other day that's not that high, And I text Joe and
because
I
yours
message.
isn't even that high, is it?
No, it's like wall runnable, so maybe 3 meters up. And I was like shitting bricks. And I text Joe and I was like, these things are so scary, man. He's like, yeah, see how cool I am.
He loves it. He loves it. Because I went to a descent recently, one that he posted on his Instagram, like probably last week, maybe the week before, and he does like punch dive roll out on the landing. It's like not a classic descent, it's a classic descent sort of motion. But I went there and I've been there twice and I've been like, oh, I just don't know. Like I need to go there with him to like really break down, because he's just got such a good way of breaking down the skill now.
So logical.
Because he's been doing it for so long. Yeah, exactly. So logical, and then not to the fact of overthinking. I feel like he knows what he can do and then just goes and does it. And then as soon as you start to overthink, especially with the height, it really plays mind games. But he's managed to like switch it off.
Yeah,
and
I can't do that at height.
Like, yeah, just level to level. Like, because we can do it all on the ground level. Why can't we do it up there? But he's able to switch off the next 7 levels and only do the first one, which I guess just comes from practice. But it's
also just like I guess he's like, the people have like certain things that they're preordained towards with their mindset and their skill set, and the fact that Joe can always like confidently hold his weight and confidently like use his upper body as like his anchor, then it makes doing those things where you have to, because I find like the descent skill for me a lot of the time is actually the getting down in between smoothly and safely. The hang drop is like, it's hard, but it's also very achievable. The in-betweens that you figure out where you're essentially hanging on like fingertips and leaning back over those 7 stories, that's where I'm like,
that was the one and that is literally the one that I wanted to do. And I was like, you're hanging, your legs swinging underneath and it feels like it's just going to rip you back. I'm just like, oh, this is just not the one for me, not yet anyway. He's smashing it, man. He's absolutely smashing it.
Super happy to have him on Farang. It was one of the big chess moves I was trying to play this year, with like just getting the brand back into the rhythm. But also I've always wanted him to be like somewhat a professional rep, because like we spend so much time together already and we always train together, such good friends. Like I just wanted him to be part of like a team with me or some sort of other like professional relationship, so we can just work together, so it's like never working, but you can do it. Like we already have that dynamic. So I was really happy about that. All right, so
he's gone.
Oh, I was gonna say 3 quick questions for you, Ed. Just completely, we're gonna do right turn today because we went left turn last episode with Callum. But what is your full name backwards?
Full name backwards?
Yeah,
I ain't got a clue.
Tox is Scott, right?
Tox, and then
I think it was Ed Duarte.
That's French.
Yeah.
Tox Duarte. Could be. I'm a member of the original freerunning gang. That's me. Tox Duarte.
I'm Osamart Id Kinimod. Yeah.
Kinimod.
Yeah, Kinimod.
That feels like an actual name.
Yo, Kinimod.
Yeah, that could actually be a name.
Yeah, well, I don't know what dialect it would be in, but I reckon I could pull it off.
Yeah.
All right. If you
could have chest, it's fine.
If you could have a superpower, what would that be?
I mean, if you're not picking teleportation, I don't think I can trust you as a human being. Really? Teleport? Oh, come on,
teleportation. Man. Yeah, no, I've definitely fantasized about that. In the movie Jumper, where it's just like, but what would be your limitations? Oh, mate, you got to watch it. It's a movie about people that teleport, and it's
that's right up my street. I'm in. Yeah, no, teleportation. It's gotta be.
So Sydney and I agreed that invulnerability would probably be the A1 choice for us, because I mean, like Wolverine, you know what I mean? Like just the ability to like try anything and then be like, cool, it might hurt, but I'll be fine. Like I just could be like,
have a go. Okay.
Just
not be able to take any damage.
Yeah, essentially. Just 0 damage.
But then I could go for something, and then when I'm in the air doing this awful flip cork freeze rail, and I'm looking down, I'm like, I'm gonna not land on that bar. teleport back to the beginning.
Yeah. I'm safe.
Done. Yeah. Just keep going until you get close.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Then just that one time, just stick it. But then I feel like you never get to practice your landing. You just always like, huh?
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, teleportation is a good answer. Very solid. I think my second would be super speed. Because then
super speed would be good.
Imagine being able to do parkour at super speed. Because you have the skills and you can just be like, boom.
Imagine the POV runs.
Oh my God, just be like a blur.
Yeah,
bullet.
GoPro just wouldn't keep up.
Like a time lapse, but in like 0.5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then if you could show one like jump or one achievement or one clip to your former self, or you could show them an entire video, but like one thing before you started training as like inspiration or like you know, a goal motivator, what do you think would be like that one clip that you showed past Ed?
That is a great question. One thing that's really motivating. The first thing that sticks out in my head is the half a hara, which is the move that I did in light work. Or that whole video would be sick, to be fair. But that one clip, just because I haven't seen anyone do it on that situation before. So it's cool to kind of be the first to do one of those moves.
Yeah, at the time for sure, it was like to me it stood out as like really iconic because it was unseen. The location it was done in was like outdoor for the first time people seeing it, but also it's like it's hard to replicate. A few of us have tried like doing it on different spots, and it's like it's really tough to get right.
It's hard, but it's also pretty spot specific, which is like kind of a good thing and a bad thing. I remember talking to Marks, and he was always like, yeah, I want to be able to invent a skill that no one's ever done, but everyone can try. The thing with that one is you've got to have the spot for it, which but I like that. That's one of those ones that you go to the spot and you go, God, I wonder if I could do that. And the kind of the trick presents itself at the spot, which is like a cool way of thinking about it, I think, and not something that often happens when you go to new places or
you don't find that one thing that like pops at every spot, which is it's really nice when you do. It's a good feeling. So if you were to look back at this year overall, how would you rate your 2022? Are you happy with your performance training, life, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I think it was okay. When it comes to training, I don't think it was my biggest year for sure. Like I think when it comes to like going and doing jobs and kind of being a little bit more professional about getting into certain industries, definitely. Like I've done more like work jobs than I've done previously before. I've met more contacts. I've got into new sort of ventures, be it the sort of CrossFit sort of stuff, and then running, and then all these sort of other things, which has been really exciting for me. I've got injured twice as well, which hasn't really been great. And they're never like big injuries or anything like that, but I did my ankle
to slow you down.
Yeah, and then just really take the curve off. I feel like it was all ramping up, and then it just drops off completely.
Yeah,
but yeah, I hurt my ankle, and then recently, like, I bent my big toe back, which is probably the lamest thing you can do, man. It is so lame.
But it's like integral for everything you do, like using your big toe.
Literally everything. Yeah, I was walking in pain and I haven't like got back to running or anything like that still. But that put me out for like 6 to 8 weeks, which might not seem a lot, but like, yeah, when you're like trying to ride a wave and then you just get stumped down again, it's really annoying. But I think, like, training wise, it's been a good year, definitely. Like, I've done stuff that I've been proud of, and I've managed to achieve things that I wanted to. There's more stuff that I wanted to achieve this year, like a couple of things that I'd like to have a go at, or I really wanted to film like a big individual project this year, but it just hasn't quite come to fruition yet.
Yeah.
That's like, it's still in the plan for next year, which is good. But like, when it comes to being consistent and stuff like that, like my YouTube, that's gone up a lot this year. Like, being consistent on YouTube has been really good. Instagram's still going up, like social media is doing well. But yeah, like, I think it's for growth been very good. For training, maybe not as much as the previous year or the year before that. So
like, from external, it looks like you've been like really consistent across the board, other than the 2 injuries. Like, the presence that you've had all year has been really strong, regardless of if you're doing like as standout like what are the words I'm looking for, like highlights as previous
Yeah,
years,
yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
I feel like as a whole, every year that gets harder to do as an athlete individually, because you checked more markers for yourself. So then
Yeah.
you've already achieved more things than you even knew you were going to. So it's like, and it's harder to get that sensation back, because it's just, becomes like monotonous to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But
The
then
timing, I think, of coming up with new things as well shrinks. So when you first start training, you have these big long lists of goals that take 5 years to complete, and then you have one bump a year and you complete them all. And now you've got a year to plan these next big things that you want to do, and you tick them off, and then you've got 6 months, and then that time of like
yeah,
picking new things and then doing them shrinks and shrinks and shrinks.
yeah.
Which like is a sign that you're getting better, but it's also quite frustrating because then you're always chasing something.
Yeah. I think that's where, like, if you look at someone, bringing it back to Joe, he's got that. It's like he's dialed in what he can do every day and what he wants to do every day, and it's physically attainable and it's skillfully attainable. And like when you hit that sweet spot, I feel like personally, like last year for me was way more in that sweet spot where I hit that, like, okay, I want to do these scary things, and I can do these scary things and handle it. And like, it's it's very relatable for me that you say that, because I feel like, professionally speaking, and like, industry growth, as like, an adult and an athlete, making more of a livable wage, that stuff has progressed. And it always feels less gratifying in a sense, because you're not physically doing it, but it is happening. And that kind of, I guess, solidarity does feel nice. But yeah, I've had a crappy year of training by my standards anyway. But then like, this is what I was thinking, like when I look at all your stuff and you're like, yeah, it's the average year of training. Your average year of training is still far more incredible than like most average person's, like, peak period. So you got to be, happy with the fact that you can still do what you can do, and like, it's your body's still giving you enjoyment out of just like being good at what you do.
Yeah. I think it's definitely important to sit back and reflect on what you can do. But I think that's the thing that like strives me, and probably strives you as well, is the fact that we know we can do more and we always want to be doing more. So sitting back and reflecting on stuff is all well and great, but at the moment I don't want to be reflecting, I want to be doing.
No. And so, that's something for me that I was like, honestly, I've been really struggling with the last few months, as my kind of progression plateaued from ankle recovery. Like it's been tough, man, like going to spots where I've been before and seeing these challenges that I was able to just bang off the cuff, and not even being able to like do a miniature version or like the prep version of, because of my ankles. It really just like, it does wear you down quite a lot. But that's where, like, I guess the self-reflection can really help, because then making my yearly compilation, I watched it and I was like, oh, I haven't had that shit of a year. I'm just comparing myself to 2021, which was like, in my opinion, the best year I've had. So then it's like really, really hard to personally rationalize that. You're just like, I fucking suck, man.
Man, I'm struggling at the moment with like pulling back the mental game as well. Like being injured, I was like injured with my ankle for a while, and then got back for maybe like a couple of weeks, and I was like, oh, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling strong. And then I got injured with my toe, and then I'm like, it's another 6 weeks out, and now I'm coming back and my toe's pretty good. It's not 100%, but I'm still not wanting to push 100%, because if it hurts again, it's another 6 weeks. So I'm like in that leeway at the moment of being like, how much do I really want to push it? Do I want to push it and then potentially get injured and have to sit out for another 6 weeks? Or
do you feel like it's kind of confidence shattering in a way?
So.
Like, you feel like if you push too hard, you might injure that further and put yourself in that position?
Just put myself back again, just because being injured is so lame, man. It's so, as you know, it's just so boring. Like you just sit, like when I was injured, I was coaching a bit at the gym, but then mainly I was just going to the gym and I was just doing upper body stuff. I felt like a proper like gym goer, and I was just like, oh, this is not for me. This is not for me. I just want to go and train parkour and then go for a run and then just do whatever I want to do.
Leg things with my friends.
Literally just whatever I want to do. But having that restriction taken away, having that restricted for me was just horrible. And I don't really want to go and do that again. But that is the mental side that you can have to break back through again, which is exciting, it's frustrating, but it's part of the sport, isn't it? When you get injured,
Yeah, it's part of the game. If you're going to play, those are some of the conditions that you have to abide by.
Yeah, there are rules to the game.
Yeah. What was your favorite month of like training for yourself? What do you reckon was the standout one for you if you're looking back?
I don't know. I had a really good month. It must have been in summer. We went to I managed to go to London a couple of times. I did flip pre-IMAX plier across into front 5.
Oh yeah. I think that's like
that
July.
was really fun.
That was after
Yeah.
AOM, right? Yeah. You were like coming out of AOM into like a nice
into
push.
training. Yeah. Art of motion as well. That was really fun. I think I tend to find that I have quite a lot of peaks. They're not massive, but there's quite a few of them. And like doing the Kong 360 Kong, that was a little bit later on in the year, but that was something that I really wanted to do and was able to push for.
I think you're the only other one.
Yeah.
We're the only ones. Yes. That's our move.
Yeah. I've been wanting to do that one for so long. And I think it was a breach jam or something like that. And I was like, oh, this is the perfect time. Like I was doing it over the block, and then there's a couple of people that I was like, oh, I just kind of want to do it. But you know, the IMAX pressure, the road is clear. I was like, well, I've got to go. Now's the time.
Yeah, this is the stars have aligned. I must do this.
Yeah. IMAX is never clear. Let's go. I'm not sure an exact month, but
no, that's maybe still great. I think what I mainly want to get out of that, and I'm gonna ask what your best best trip of the year was as well, is more just like positive reflection on what was like a highlight moment, you know, what's something, and that answers that entirely. So if you had to pick like a destination, favorite trip of the year.
Oh, favorite trip. God, it's been so many. It's probably Vancouver, you know. That was a fun trip.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun trip. And the good thing about that was I had goals going out to Vancouver. Yeah, exactly. And I couldn't get away from it for the whole of the month, or however long we were there. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, that was the best bit. I had a goal of going to Vancouver and I wanted to hold on to the title of SBL. And by the end of that trip, I was able to do that. As well as train a bunch throughout the whole time I was there, do stuff that I was really proud of in the competition, and then just like chill and hang with mates and stuff like that. Like it was just such a good trip.
The Vancouver scene's so lovely. Like all those guys are just brilliant people. And their location, like the city itself, is so beautiful. Other than a lot of junkies, but other than that, it is. Yeah,
just stay away from Hastings and you're fine.
Yeah. Just don't see front myself.
That trip. And I guess Art of Motion as well. Like anytime you get to go out on a Red Bull trip is a blessing. Like they hook you up, they support you so much. And
this year was
really good.
Like really good. I feel like there was a very strong sense of camaraderie and like intimacy is not the right word, but like rapport for a small group. Maybe that is the right way to describe it. But like we all like got to spend good time together, have those conversations. And with this new format that they had for Redbull Automotion, it was like we could support each other throughout the entire competition instead of like stressing and hiding in our rooms, like waiting for our run and stuff. It was like, get out there, have fun, hang out with each other. And that's something I really did enjoy of that.
And I think because it was so long, we all were going through it together. It wasn't like we were just going to a competition and just doing the competition. It was on the first day we had to go out and we had to film 3 videos for each other. The second day we had to go and do a minute-long video. The third day we had to shoot a Red Bull YouTube video. The fourth day we had it was a list of things, and on that, it was all really tiring. And we all sort of came together and helped each other out.
Yeah, and you were also like for those first 2 days, you were already in this mini team of like who you chose to go on the exploration day with, or who your cameraman and the other athlete that they had were. Like there was a unity that was happening there, and like just splitting people into different groups and forcing different collaborations and ideas to come together. And then even when we did like that big video for Red Bull, which I'm not sure whatever happened to that, but the King of the Island, we spent like a good 6 hours, but it was nice because like then we were all one big team doing this project. Like we all had to like kind of almost perform a little bit for the camera there, and that gave us like a cohesiveness as well. So I think that
just like a joint effort to reach the final goal always brings people together. So the final goal for it was competing at the end of it. And what we needed to do was solely everyone versus the island. So it wasn't really so competitive. It was just what you could do. And I think that, that's what brought everyone together. And then we were also in one of the most beautiful places in the world and have a hot
gorgeous.
tub and and had any food we wanted. It it's just, we're just so lucky, man. We're so lucky to be able to do it. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like I always feel very fortunate that there's like the opportunity that the sport has provided, because there's been, like, objectively looking back, some crazy experiences that just because I touch walls with my feet and my hands, I got to do it. They're like, come touch these walls, like, whoa,
please. We'll cut off the whole island for you and you can go anywhere. Like, all right. It's so crazy.
Does that mean you'll be competing next year as well, looking to keep continuing in the competition scene circuit per se?
I think so. I think this winter I really, really want to get into the gym and learn some new moves. Like, I feel like at the moment, especially when I go to a competition, it's very samey. So I'm excited to get into a gym and learn some new stuff. The gym that's closest to me is about Fluidity. So it's about 2 hours away. So I'm going to get up there and just train more and more as I can. When I'm in Bristol as well.
Good gym.
Go over. Yeah, really good. Just good for learning stuff, man. They've got a foam pit. They've got, a ton of
like different ledges onto the mats, onto the sprung floor, which also connects from like the bars slightly to get you. So you have like the space to, as you said, learn and kind of play with different movements. And there's enough variety of setup that you can then take that outside instead of like, here's my box. And also,
I feel like in summer you have your tricks and you go for those tricks and you move how you want it to move, really set those goals. And then winter is all about just expanding that skill set. For when you come to do competitions and stuff like that. But I think next year, when it comes to competitions, I'd like to have a go at more of the other ones as well. So I'd like to have a go more of this. No, the skill comps mainly.
Oh, okay. Like other styles of competition.
Other styles of competition. So the obviously we do style at the moment, but going to do some of the skill comps and stuff like that, like I really enjoy doing parkour movements, and that's pretty much what skill comps are at the moment. So like really progressing in that and seeing how well that goes as well.
Yeah, I like that. I'm like-minded in that. I want to do like speed and skill and style. Like usually, if I'm healthy, I feel like I have the stamina to keep going just because I'm an energetic prick.
Yeah. But it's because you drink 15 Red Bulls a day, lad.
Hey, mate, it gets you going, you know. It's not 15, it's 14. Let's be real here, you know. It's 15 would be way too much, Ed. I remember when was 12. This year in the UK, right? I like finished a Red Bull. We were in Vancouver, and I like put it in the bin and opened my other Red Bull, and you were like, Dom, you've got problems.
You're literally gonna kill yourself.
I'm a sponsored athlete, mate. I got appearances. Look, bam,
get him go.
Branding,
ready to go.
No, it's like some people use protein powder or like pre-workout. I just drink Red Bull, and that's
back to back.
If I could inject it, like
into the veins,
straight in there, the activation would be supreme.
Oh my god, you'd be buzzing.
What about like stuff like the Stora Wall Comp and the Kipper Jam? Would you be interested in doing more of those and going to more street events?
Yeah. So the Stora Big Wall, that was probably a big highlight for me as well. That was really, really fun.
I went to that. Smashed that.
Yeah, man, they smashed it. And it was so basic, but so well done. Like there was no bells and whistles on it. There was Drew and Benj with a megaphone, Callum and Josh filming, Max on a phone, like Toby on the big cameras on a Sasha. Like they were just all doing things, but like didn't really have a clue what was going on. And then it just worked, man. It just worked. Like so many people turned up. The atmosphere just felt great. Music was going, and I think it just like led for people just to feel really comfortable and then try and do what they wanted to do. Like I did way more than I was expecting. Big up on
getting male of the day. Nice congratulations there, boy. Jeez.
Yeah, man. I was so stoked with that. I was gutted I missed the party, but I was just so stoked to do that, man. It was Why
did you miss the party? Did
I
you have
flew
a
to
job?
Amsterdam the next day. Yeah, I
Yeah,
flew to
yeah.
Amsterdam the next day. Like,
Jeez.
yeah, I was flying out of Bristol like early morning, so I had
No
to
way
get
you could
back.
do it.
It was so frustrating because it was like such a fun time.
Yeah, it was
And it would
good.
have
It
been
was
cool
really
to
good.
party with everyone, but no,
Yeah,
next
yeah,
time.
it was really fun. What was I gonna say? Was to do with
Do you reckon they're going to do it
yeah.
again?
I don't think they'll do the same event, but they want to do something similar. It's just again tricky finding the spot. Also, I was gonna say, yeah, I feel like that specifically like that jam format for you, like, hey, come to this spot for like 2-3 hours and do the shit you could do. That's like your ballpark. That's like
Yeah.
asking Ed to do
Yeah.
what Ed does best. Is like, hey, every like little thing I can lean my hand towards and excel at, I'm just gonna work towards that and do it. So that was fun to watch because I
Yeah.
was done. I did my usual like 15 minutes and then I was like, I'm done. And then I just got to watch you like the whole
Yeah,
time. I was like,
blast.
nice,
Yeah.
nice over here, is over there.
Yeah, and I think that's like how I want to train as well. Like I want to be able to go to something like that and I want to be able to try everything and I want to be able
Mhm.
to do well in everything. Like I think being a really well-rounded athlete is something that I aspire to be. So
What
be it
shows?
doing the wall run, sticking the wall run, flipping to the rail, doing wall tricks, doing
Yeah.
dynos, whatever. Like I want to be able to do it all.
Hmm.
And like that type of competition allows you to do that, which was really, really fun. Really
Yeah.
fun. I didn't go to the Kipper one though, which I'm gutted about. So next
Neither.
year that is on the list because that looked like a class event.
Yeah, there was just like they had like a couple of different challenges for different spots. It was like mini big wall opens at different spots, and it was like
Yeah.
it just looked like such a good time. I'd love to see like even more of those popping up
Yeah.
from different groups and stuff.
I really
So
liked how at Kipper as well, they sorry to jump in.
no, you go.
I really liked how they also gave awards out for like people that were doing photography and stuff like that as well.
Hmm.
So my friend
Hmm.
Max, he went and won like one of the photography competition. I think won like a poster or something like that. And I thought like that is a really cool thing to be doing, as well as not only the athletes are like throwing themselves and doing the hardest stuff, but the photographers and the cameramen are like really trying to get in there as well and make the most of
Integrating the media
the event.
as
Exactly.
part
Yeah.
of the whole picture. Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to the other guests so far, just as an overarching thing about those of us who work as professional athletes and like creating industry. Interestingly enough, like we get into more nuanced stuff. Like with Cal, we ended up talking about how like most of uh, most of the people listening probably shouldn't be aspiring to make a career out of it if they want to hold the kind of passion for it and enjoy it. But at the same
Yeah.
time, those who are listening and do want to kind of learn how to, or just, have insight into what that looks like. Would you say, have you worked with management before, or are you completely self-managed, or both?
Just completely self-managed at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't got a manager or an agent or anything like that. I would like to, I think, just because I think it gives you a little bit more opportunities and stuff, like the people that they know then can help you there. But I think just using yourself, and I think we just end up becoming creating machines. Like when we
Yeah.
go out and train, we film stuff for the story, we take photos, and then we get clips, and then we make YouTube videos and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
anyone that is listening that wants to like maybe break into trying to become a professional athlete, I think just get used to filming stuff and understanding on how to film stuff correctly, because a lot of people won't film stuff correctly. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
when we were in Vancouver, you did a little demo on that with the kids and was like, here's a front flip that wasn't very high, but this is how I would film the front flip because this is the best angle to show off the best height, and it will
Yeah.
gauge your audience as much as possible. And I think
Yeah.
like people that are aspiring to get into this as a full-time thing, studying what people are doing well and why it's going well and how it's filmed is something that's really important as well.
Yeah, you do need to realize that part of putting yourself out there as a professional athlete is how that looks externally, and a skill set that you need to have is showcasing that, be it through videography, photography, or just like basic social media posting. There is a necessity that goes along with the athletic discipline as well, for that kind of stream. And I guess you and I do that quite similar, which is like self-promotion, back yourself, a lot of the internal communications through yourself. And then hopefully you're doing enough all the time to get out there.
I mean, because you're always going to do sick stuff, so why not put the effort into film it well? Like that is another thing that like I think I'd say as well. Just like look at people. Why does this work for someone and then this is not working for the other person? They're pretty much doing the same thing. Why isn't this working? And then when it comes to like building up relationships with brands and stuff like that, like I remember listening to Jason and he was saying that you have to be on time, be really nice, and be really good. I think those are the three things.
Yeah,
but as long as you're two of them, you can drop one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So when we were at Art of Motion, Jason brought up that advice. And I think that's a very good one to touch on for people is like, yeah, you have to be on time. You have to be really nice and polite and fun to work with. And you have to be good at what you do. And if you're really good at two of those, you can probably slip on a third, but you shouldn't.
And then when it comes to like doing professional work, you're trying to do all three.
Be all three of those things.
And then you build relationships and you build friendships with brands and stuff like that that'll only go on to help you. If not, you'll get a cool experience out of it anyway. Like I went to a Red Bull event and it was sick. I might never ever do anything with Red Bull again, but I was on time. I was pretty good, and I did well. Like,
and that's something that then even if other brands look at your performance, they can reflect and see, oh, like this guy does do very well and work very hard and that sort of thing. What was I going to say? It was lost my train of thought, but it was to do with what you were saying. Well. It was some advice that you were given. It was good, and now I've completely lost my train of thought.
Maybe about filming. I don't know. I think that's where we were going before.
Yeah,
if you got to film it well. Just I don't know. Also, I think training with as many people as possible that's really helped me. So not just training in your small town or your city, really expanding out and going to learn from new people. Like the improvements that I've seen when I'm training in Exeter and then I go and train in Bristol and I get to train with people like Travis and Joe, my level just increases straight away. It's not to say that you can't do that in one small place. And like, if you're in a small place, I know like America's massive. If you're living in America and the nearest city to you is a million miles away or whatever, you can still do that. Like you can still get sick on your own. Like people still like Diddy. He did it in like on
Morocco and
in the desert
his own spots.
But if you have the opportunity to travel and to go and meet new people, go and do it. Like often it will seem like, it's a 5-hour drive. It's going to be a lot of effort. But honestly, those are some of the best trips that I've been on.
And I think, that's a very tangible piece of advice for a lot of people. Like I feel like my training skyrocketed the second I started traveling and was just fleshed in with a bunch of different people the whole time.
Yeah. Like going to events, like not so long ago, I went to York Takeover, which was a jam that was held in York, which they had 50 challenges around the city, and then you have to tick as many. Yeah, you've got to try and tick as many as you can. But York, from me where I live now, to get up to York is a 6-hour drive. So we drove up the night before. We stayed at Sam's house, who organised the event, and then we drove 6 hours back the next day. And I had a blast. Like it was so much fun. But if I wasn't quite in the mood for it, I could easily not have driven 6 hours for that event. But I'm so glad I did. Like I was able to meet new people. I was able to learn new things and see a new city as well. Like traveling and seeing new things is all part of parkour in my opinion.
I think, some people, as you just said, it's very easy to be like, oh, it's too much effort or it's too hard. And it's like, the more you get out and get into your, like out of your comfort zone and into some fun things, it's going to really change the way that your energy levels are and the way that you like habitualize leaving the house and going on these trips and stuff like that. Because, a lot of people can get just trapped in like, oh, it's a bit windy out, or I might just stay in today and then the next day, and just like kind of cascades and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I think we're happy to leave it there for this week, unless there's anything else you'd like to add. I really feel like we touched on some key subjects there, and I hope people can get some insight from what that looks like as people who are working in the industry and related to their own growth, or if they want to pursue parkour in that way, can take those little things. Big thank you for coming on the show, man. It's probably what, your third time doing Ketchup with Domtomato now? You're the most
Something like that,
regular, I
but
think. Yeah,
I'm
boy.
like, come on, oh mate, I need to get
Mm.
I'll be the co-host here.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Dom and Ed doing a
Here
podcast.
we go. That'd be
uh,
sick.
yeah, so we've got next week's guest is going to be Annan and talk about some Farang stuff. So if you guys
That'll be a good
subscribe for
one.
that, you can
I'm gonna be
find Ed
listening.
on Ed Scott1 on Instagram, Ed Scott on YouTube. And is there any other places they should find you? Have you got edscott.com happening yet?
No, I haven't actually. That
That's
maybe that's something that I need to do. Would you recommend doing that?
I would recommend getting a website as like a one-stop shop for clients. And this is something now, like I'm doing it with merchandising, but I think also this actually brings me back to a point before we leave, where I'm currently creating like a media pack, which is just like a bio, a little resume that has all these like really nice stats, really nice pictures and professional imagery, and like the packages that I can offer to brands, and then giving them that. So that's something we can talk about more in the future as well, because I think that'd be really helpful for you.
Yeah,
but it's
I think that's something that a lot of definitely what I struggle with is like approaching brands and stuff like that. So I think if you could do a podcast on that, that'd be really sick.
Cool. Yeah. I'll have some thoughts on it. Maybe that'll be my finale episode, is like ways that I approach brands and talking with another couple of athletes. Yeah,
I think if you and Jason can talk about that, like that would be a really good one, because I remember we had really good conversations in in Greece about it. Everyone together, like, and I think that's really valuable information that everyone can definitely benefit from.
Sweet. Well, yeah, I think that's definitely going to be coming in the future. So hit that subscribe button for Ketchup with Domtomato. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. Are we on YouTube? Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for listening this week, and I will see you next time.